The World Bank just dropped a report that flipped Asia's wealth rankings upside down, and the Philippines, a country where 40% of people still live on less than $3 a day, just leapfrogged Thailand to claim the number 2 spot in Southeast Asia. Maria Santos, a call center manager in Manila, watched her savings account grow by 18% last year while her cousin in Bangkok saw his stagnate. But this isn't about GDP or government spending. It's about something far more personal and far more controversial. If you want to understand the real forces reshaping Asia's economy while the media sleeps on the story, hit subscribe now. We're tracking the wealth shifts that will determine which countries win and lose over the next decade. These patterns don't wait for headlines to catch up. The Philippines doesn't manufacture semiconductors or export cars, yet 10 million Filipinos working abroad pumped $38 billion into the country in 2024 alone. Roberto Villanueva left his family in Cebu in 2019 to work as a nurse in London. His monthly remittances of £600 built his parents a new house, paid for his daughter's private school, and still left enough to invest in a local transport business. Asian Development Bank research from March 2024 shows remittance-dependent households in the Philippines increased their savings rates by 23% compared to 2019, while Thai households saw a 7% decline. Here's what makes this shocking. While Thailand's manufacturing sector contracted by 4% in 2024, Filipino households were quietly accumulating wealth through a system that doesn't rely on factories or export quotas. The money isn't just sitting in banks. It's flowing into education, healthcare, and small businesses at rates that dwarf government investment. But remittances alone don't explain how the Philippines overtook an economy that was 40% larger just 5 years ago. The real story gets darker. Thailand's household debt hit 91% of GDP in 2024, the highest in Southeast Asia, and it's crushing the middle class that once made Thailand Asia's economic darling. Somchai Phuket, a 42-year-old taxi driver in Pattaya, took out a car loan in 2018 when tourism was booming. By 2024, his monthly payments consumed 65% of his income as tourist arrivals remained 30% below pre-pandemic levels. He's now one of 2.3 million Thais in severe debt distress. Bank of Thailand data from September 2024 reveals that 43% of Thai households now spend more than half their income on debt servicing, compared to 28% in the Philippines. Here's the brutal arithmetic. The average Thai household carries debt equal to 18 months of income. The average Filipino household? Just 9 months. While Filipino families were building wealth through overseas earnings and disciplined savings, Thai families were borrowing to maintain consumption during the tourism collapse. Thailand's debt crisis isn't about poor financial planning. It's about an economy that bet everything on Chinese tourists and European retirees, then watched that foundation crumble when borders closed and currency markets shifted. And just when you think it can't get worse for Thailand, there's a demographic time bomb that nobody's talking about. Thailand's median age is 40. The Philippines? 25. That 15-year gap represents the difference between a country rushing toward retirement and a country entering its peak earning years. Lucia Martinez graduated from University of the Philippines in 2023 with a computer science degree. Within 6 months, she landed a remote job with a Singapore fintech company paying $2,400 monthly, triple what her parents earned combined at her age. She's part of a generation that's rewriting Filipino economic expectations. United Nations Population Division projections from 2024 show Thailand's working-age population will shrink by 11% between 2024 and 2035, while the Philippines will add 14 million workers in the same period. This isn't just about more workers. It's about younger workers earning tech wages while living in an economy with emerging market costs. The Philippine business process outsourcing sector now employs 1.8 million people earning an average of $8,400 annually, creating a new middle class that didn't exist 20 years ago. A call center worker in Manila now earns more in purchasing power terms than a factory supervisor in Bangkok, and the gap is widening every quarter. Thailand tried to pivot to high-tech manufacturing, but its aging workforce and education system haven't kept pace. The Philippines accidentally built its advantage by sending millions abroad to learn skills, then bringing that knowledge home. But there's a hidden cost to this success that threatens to unravel everything. The Philippines has the wealth, but it still has some of the worst infrastructure in Asia, and that's creating a time bomb for sustained growth. Carmen Reyes runs a garment export business in Quezon City. Her company grew revenue by 35% in 2024, but her delivery trucks still spend an average of 4.3 hours in traffic daily. She calculates that poor roads cost her business $18,000 annually in wasted fuel and delayed shipments. World Bank's 2024 Logistics Performance Index ranks the Philippines 60th globally for infrastructure quality, while Thailand sits at 32nd despite its economic struggles. Metro Manila's average traffic speed is 12 kilometers per hour during peak times. Bangkok, for all its problems, maintains 18 kilometers per hour. Filipino wealth is real, but it's trapped in bank accounts and remittance flows rather than productive infrastructure that could multiply returns. Thailand's decades of infrastructure investment are still paying dividends even as other economic indicators decline. The Philippines is rich in cash but poor in the systems needed to convert cash into sustainable growth. The Philippines has $98 billion in overseas Filipino worker remittances sitting in the banking system. Thailand has $127 billion in foreign direct investment locked into factories, ports, and industrial estates. One represents potential, the other represents momentum. Which brings us to the question that determines whether the Philippines can hold this position or whether Thailand will claw its way back. China's slowing economy and America's shifting alliances are redrawing the map of Asian prosperity, and the Philippines just made a bet that could either secure its future or destroy its momentum. When Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. expanded U.S. military access to 9 bases in 2024, Chinese investment pledges worth $14 billion were quietly withdrawn. Construction projects in Mindanao stopped mid-build. Thousands of planned jobs vanished. ASEAN Investment Report 2024 shows Chinese foreign direct investment in the Philippines dropped 67% between 2022 and 2024, from $4.2 billion to $1.4 billion, while American investment increased by only 12%, nowhere near enough to fill the gap. Thailand, despite its economic troubles, maintained neutral relations with both powers and kept investment flowing from all sides. The Philippines chose sides and is now discovering the cost. Those remittance flows that built Filipino wealth? They're vulnerable too. 500,000 Filipinos work in mainland China and Hong Kong. Another 200,000 work in Chinese-funded projects across Southeast Asia. If relations sour further, those jobs disappear. Thailand's pragmatic diplomacy looks boring compared to the Philippines' bold stance, but boring might be the smarter play when your economic model depends on keeping money flowing from everywhere. The World Bank report that ranked the Philippines second in Southeast Asian wealth was based on 2023 data, before the full impact of Chinese investment withdrawal hit. The 2024 update, due in March 2025, might tell a very different story. The Philippines overtook Thailand through remittances, demographics, and a younger workforce earning tech wages. But it's gambling that geopolitical alignment and underdeveloped infrastructure won't erase those gains. Thailand has the roads and factories but an aging population and crushing debt. The Philippines has the young workers and cash flows but crumbling infrastructure and geopolitical risk. Which country would you bet on for 2030? The established power trying to reinvent itself, or the upstart risking everything on a single alliance? If you're still watching, you're ahead of 90% of people who think Asia's economic rankings are set in stone. Subscribe now so you catch the next shift before it becomes obvious. Because the country that wins 2030 might not be either of these two, and we'll break that story first.